I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw it. A memorial post on my husband's timeline. 6 months before he was supposed to die. My hand started shaking as I stared at the screen. There was Marcus, smiling in his profile picture, with dozens of RIP comments flooding his page. People were sharing memories, posting crying emojis, talking about what a good man he was. The timestamp showed the post was from January 15, 2023. But Marcus didn't die until July 8, 2023. I met Marcus 5 years ago at a grief support group. I know, not exactly a romantic meet-cute. But we both understood loss. My mom had just passed from cancer, and he'd lost his first wife in a car accident. We bonded over our pain, built something beautiful from the ashes of our separate tragedies. He was everything I needed. Patient when I cried randomly. Strong when I felt weak. He held me through panic attacks and celebrated small victories with me. When he proposed 2 years later, I thought I'd found my person. My forever. The wedding was small but perfect. His family welcomed me with open arms. His sister Sarah became like a real sister to me. His mom, Helen, always said I brought light back into Marcus's eyes after his first wife died. Then came the diagnosis. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave him 6 to 8 months. I quit my job to become his full-time caregiver. I researched every treatment, drove him to every appointment, held his hand through every chemo session. Those months were hell, but they were also precious. We talked about everything. He told me stories about his childhood, his dreams, his regrets. He made me promise to find love again someday. I told him I'd never love anyone the way I loved him. He died on a Tuesday morning in July, holding my hand. So imagine my confusion staring at this memorial page that was supposedly created 6 months before his death. I scrolled through the comments, my heart pounding. Sarah had written a long post about missing her brother. Helen shared a photo of Marcus as a child. Friends from work were talking about his legacy. All dated January 15, 2023. All posted while he was still very much alive, fighting cancer in our bedroom upstairs. I called Sarah immediately. Sarah, what is this Facebook page? Why does it say Marcus died in January? Long pause. What are you talking about, Emma? There's a memorial page for Marcus dated 6 months ago. People are posting like he died in January. Another pause. Longer this time. Emma, honey, maybe you should sit down. My blood went cold. What aren't you telling me? Marcus didn't have cancer, Emma. He never had cancer. The phone slipped from my hand. I picked it up with trembling fingers. What did you say? He came to us in January and told us he was going to fake his death. He said he needed to disappear for a while, start over somewhere else. He made us promise to play along. The room started spinning. That's impossible. I was with him every day. I saw the medical records. I drove him to chemo. Emma, listen to me. Marcus has been planning this for over a year. He hired actors to play doctors. He rented fake medical offices. He even had someone create false test results. I couldn't breathe. 6 months. 6 months of watching the man I loved supposedly waste away. 6 months of sleepless nights, of crying in hospital hallways, of planning his funeral. 6 months of grieving while he was healthy and planning his escape. But why? I whispered. Sarah's voice cracked. His first wife didn't die in a car accident, Emma. She left him. Took half his assets and moved across the country. He's been planning to do the same thing to you since the day he married you. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. Every tender moment, every whispered I love you, every time he'd held me while I cried, all of it was a performance. A long, elaborate con designed to steal my life, my money, my future. I hung up and ran to our bedroom. Started tearing through his things like a woman possessed. In the back of his closet, hidden behind winter coats, I found a box. Inside were documents for a new identity, plane tickets to Costa Rica dated for July 9th, and bank statements showing he'd systematically emptied our joint accounts over the past 6 months. Also in the box? A journal. Page after page of his real thoughts about me. How naive I was. How easy it was to manipulate me. How he couldn't wait to start his new life with my money funding his retirement. The rage that consumed me was unlike anything I'd ever felt. I'd mourned this man. I'd held vigil by his bedside. I'd planned his funeral, chosen his headstone, written his obituary. I'd grieved him while he laughed at me behind my back. But Marcus made one crucial mistake. He underestimated me. I spent the next 3 days planning. Called in favors from old work colleagues. Used connections from my previous life in digital marketing. If Marcus wanted to play dead, I'd help him stay that way. First, I contacted the bank and reported fraudulent activity on our accounts. Showed them the fake medical records and forged documents I'd found. They froze everything while launching an investigation. Then I called the police. Fraud, identity theft, forgery. Marcus had committed multiple felonies. I handed over every piece of evidence I'd found. But the best part? I leaked everything to social media. Posted screenshots of his journal entries where he bragged about fooling his pathetic wife. Shared the fake medical records alongside the real bank statements showing where our money went. Tagged every person who'd commented on his memorial page. The story went viral. Local news picked it up. The fake doctors he'd hired were arrested. The whole elaborate scheme unraveled in spectacular fashion. Marcus tried to board his flight to Costa Rica and was arrested at the airport. Turns out, Costa Rica has an extradition treaty with the US. His new identity documents were flagged, his accounts were frozen, and he spent his first night of freedom in a jail cell. At his sentencing 6 months later, I sat in the front row. He looked back at me once, his face full of rage and disbelief. I smiled and waved. The judge sentenced him to 8 years for fraud and identity theft. The life insurance company sued him for attempted fraud. His family disowned him. The woman he'd been planning to start his new life with, yes, there was another woman, wanted nothing to do with him once she learned the truth. I got my money back, plus damages. Started a blog about financial fraud that now generates more income than my old job ever did. Found a therapist who helped me work through the trauma of being systematically deceived by someone I trusted completely. Sometimes people ask if I regret not just letting him go. If I should have been the bigger person and moved on quietly. But Marcus didn't just steal my money, he stole 6 months of my life. He made me grieve a living person. He turned my capacity for love and compassion into weapons against myself. No one gets to do that and walk away clean. The best part? Marcus is still alive, exactly like he wanted. He's just spending his new life behind bars instead of on a beach in Costa Rica. Sometimes karma needs a little help finding its target. I was happy to provide the GPS coordinates. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.